The stream's not even working for me.
It worked. I just saw it revolve around and it worked. See, stream
Oh.
seems like it's going for me.
It's just Twitch taking forever to load.
Just Twitch being Twitch. Twitch being Twitch.
Yeah.
You know how it is. It'd be how it do because reasons. You know what I'm saying?
I do like reasons.
Oh nope. There
yes.
now it just broke it again. I saw the Zeal GIF work once, and then it stopped working.
Why GIF? Why? Oh, it totally does too. Crap. We gotta figure out a way to do.
I know a new solution I can do. Okay, I'm gonna disable it. It's annoying.
Why does it work sometimes? It just doesn't work all the time.
I figured out a new solution in my head that I'm gonna try tonight. That I'll try to implement like tomorrow. Cause I think I'm gonna do a build stream tomorrow, or a keyboard chores tomorrow. But we'll see.
Okay, I might join you on that.
We'll see.
Sounds good, but
yeah.
the show must go on either way. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack, your weekly source for all sorts of keyboard news and info and discussion and interviews and etc. etc. Insert fancy words here.
Yeah, this week. Also, thanks Pudsey for that Twitch Prime subscription. This week, what do we got going on? And Pudsey, 8 months in a row. Holy moly, one of the OGs. So this week, we're pretty light on news, but we do have a few things we do want to talk about regarding Top Clack, and especially we want to do a big shout out to that M6A winner, which we'll be announcing today. And after all of that, we're going to be joined by Woodkeys. So that's going to be a fun time. I know a lot of people are a big fan of Woodkeys, his designs, and everything he's been doing in the community. So let's get started with this intro. Brian, how are you doing this week?
I am doing wonderful as always. And as well roll into a little bit of a mail call because I only got one thing. I got some navies, or not navies, sorry, royals. Wow. Judging by this, the crowd on the package. I've had these sitting in my mailbox for a few days now, and I kind of forgot to go get them. So like yesterday, when I grabbed them. But yeah, so I'll probably want to put these in something tomorrow, most likely, so I can try out this royal hype. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about you? What have you gotten?
So something that I've got, but I've built. I've recently rebuilt this DSI board. I didn't really announce I got it when I did because I didn't want people to know I had it really until I rebuilt it. By rebuilt, I mean I turned this basically into my sleeper board. As you might see in the camera, I made the plate blue through some clever techniques called vinyl wrapping. But this board actually, it came with MX Reds originally, but I changed it to have 62 gram ergo clears. And I gotta say, this board is actually like, in my opinion, very meta in the community. Okay, look, it has bezels. Okay, like, it has bezels. Okay, that's one. I got the 65% layout in the center area, right? Got arrows, got this cluster here, but I also have media keys, this side, media keys, which people care about. So I got 65% with a macro side, but those are media keys, and now with this, very nice cut between the main section and the function area, bam, it's spaced out, and I got my function keys up top. So, and you know what? For even more meta for the people who care, there are 3 USB ports, all powered 500 milliamps, by the way. So this is a pretty meta keyboard in the community, I think. And you know what? It was like $35. All I did was desolder switches and threw in some new switches and vinyl wrap the plate for no reason. I have a typing sounds on YouTube. It sounds pretty good, actually.
And now it's your favorite board of all time.
It's pretty good. It's surprisingly good for the price. So it's basically a 75% with a few extra keys.
Wow, people in chat are saying Total Biscuit died.
He did.
Holy
He did.
Crap. That's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
I knew he was struggling with some form of cancer, I think, for quite a few years now. That's a bummer, though. He was definitely a very fun YouTuber to watch and listen to.
Yeah. So I built that recently, and of course, some of you might have also caught the build stream. I built my Chewy 60 with box royals, manufactured normal box royals, the good stuff. I did get in my second space bar, so I got my split space going on. So far so good. I actually do have one key. The FN key for my split right shift doesn't work. It doesn't work for anyone else who got their PCB, but we found a solution, and the solution is the diode for the switch got soldered in reverse. So anyone who got the DO60 and needs to fix this switch needs to reverse your diode. So I'll be doing that probably tomorrow for keyboard chores, as well as a few other things. Initial thoughts though, pretty good for its price, and the fact that it's top mounted for its price. LED effects are nice with the polycarbonate bottom, which is awesome. It sounds remarkable, actually. I think like one or two people on the typing sounds were like, "Did you get a new camera setup? That sounds really good." I'm like, "It's the same setup. It's one of the best sounding box royal board I've tried, I've seen." Brick Cube, thank you for that Twitch Prime subscription. So,
thank you. Awesome. So, without further ado, we will roll right into the news, and then we'll talk a little bit about the results from the M6. So we'll announce the winner. That'll be cool. We'll also talk about, if you're familiar and you filled out the form, you'll know that we asked what people liked and what people disliked about Top Clack, and I think it's going to be very fun to go over what people disliked. We're not going to go through all of them. I went through all of them. I took some notes. It won't take too long, but it'll be fun. And then, of course, we'll have Woodkeys on after that as well, followed by Q&A at the end of the stream, like we always do. So there is your schedule breakdown.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start the news off with a pretty cool group buy from KBD fans, who seems to always be cranking out a ton of stuff. This is a group buy for the Enjoy PBT Black on White with icon mods, totaling 159 keycaps per $89, free DHL shipping. Not their 4PX, either it's going to be 3 days or 3 months shipping.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this set, because I think this is something I've wanted for quite a while. Like a plain black on white, very clean looking, and they even give us a color sample of which whites they're going to be using, or which white they're going to be using, which is awesome. Nice die subset. Icon mods, yes. Got the HHKV support, yes. MB Surfer, thank you, 8 months in a row with Twitch Prime as well. Oof. This set has great compatibility, by the way. Even has a separate modifier set for OSX, which is really cool. So you got a ton of keys.
I think ISO support. You have icon mods. That's
Icon mods. I'm pretty excited for this, actually. I think I'm gonna get one of these. Like, it's so clean.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be kind of a no-brainer, I think, for a lot of people. Looks pretty good. So are they positive they're going for the Snow White? They have some other whites listed as well.
Yeah, that's what they have. That's what they have boxed in. I like that Snow White a bit better, because I want more of a pure white than that cream white.
Yeah, that is much truer of a white than the other options.
Yeah. Coda, by the way, thank you for the 100 bits. And you know what? I think that pure white is going to definitely be more popular, because that was actually a disappointment in GMK Pristine that our partner Z Frontier ran, because people didn't like the slightly off white GMK Pristine was for round 1. And I think this is kind of like the other way to go, where people want a nice, beautiful pure white. Baby Feets, thank you for Twitch Prime 8 months in a row as well. I guess it's that time of month again for
it must be that time of month.
A lot of the OGs. So this is awesome. Yeah, that's the white they're gonna be going for. 159 keys. I'm in. What do you think?
Yeah, $89 with free DHL shipping for that kind of compatibility. Sign me up. Yep.
How do you guys in chat? Is this something you guys want? Like a nice simple set? No 3-tone sets. A simple 2-tone set.
Yeah, and I really dig the icon modifiers too. That's my preference, and so to actually see that on Enjoy PBT is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is
going to go over pretty well, I think.
I hope this goes well to make them do more of their sets with icon mods, even rerunning, like if they reran their beige set with icons. that would be money, because that's basically, you know, 9009, I believe.
Yeah.
So, which I guess they're running anyways, but with, yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
Looking good. Looking good.
90
I don't
bucks.
think anyone can really argue this. This is pretty good value.
As long as it's nice and crispy, because I mean, at 90 bucks, what's the other competition for this price? JTK sets?
Yeah, you could get JTK black on white, which is much less of a pure white. Their Stormtrooper has kind of like a very creamy kind of white.
Yeah, I dig
plus,
the pure.
Plus that you would also get inconsistent legends, because that was an earlier round of JTK. Whereas this is sub. So looking pretty good there. I'm into that.
Yeah. So they're planning on ordering as soon as they get 100 orders in. Estimated 2 months turnarounds, which is cool. Nice and easy. I might have to join this pretty soon.
For sure.
Oh, show. Let's move on to the next key set news, which is an interest check by Donut Cat. This is for GMK Malachite. It is a very green set. As you guys might not know, Donut Cat is actually a big fan of green sets. Like, everything he wants to run in his life is green. You know that song like by Eiffel 95, I'm Blue, Dabba Dee Dabba Da? That's Donut, but green. Essentially, as far as I can tell.
Wonder if we can talk him into doing a cover of that.
So he's got a basic KLE render for now, but he's going on for greens with greens, basically.
Yeah, green on green on green on green on green, green. Yep. It says truly a set not for the weak of green. Yeah, this is pretty intense, man.
So there's the IC form in this Geek Hack thread. Compatibility, I feel like nowadays compatibility for GMK is becoming very standardized.
Yeah, it's a bit easier. I mean, obviously it differs depending on like who's designing a set, but it's getting a little bit more standard, I guess you could say. I want a good render. I need some real renders.
Yeah,
here.
there is actually I believe if I scroll down, there's one. Yes, by Amnesia. There's a decent one on TKL.
Yeah, oh, that is incredibly green.
Very green.
All right.
Very green.
If you like green, then this is probably for you.
I don't like the accents he used for escape, enter, and arrow keys for that render there. I think that lightness doesn't. I think it's too pastel for the green he's using for the alphas. That's what I think. That's what I think, at least.
All right.
I don't know, because for me, like, accents can really make or break a lot of sets, because a lot of people like using accents. Like, I usually don't like using accents, but if you guys know and watch me use my watch my build streams, when I use accents, I use escape and enter, and I'm very picky because I only use accents when I think they work with the overall theme. And for me, the escape and enter would not work here. Everything else is pretty green, and you know what? I do have a green board I'm still trying to find good keycaps for, so this would probably work really well with that, to be honest.
All right, so this is IC form now. Show some interest if this set is totally up your alley, and then maybe we can get a group buy going for it.
Yeah. So speaking of group buys, there's one going now for some used OG Cherry Doubleshots. Yeah, Cherry Doubleshots, 1800 layout.
This is pretty interesting. Yeah, so you have you can choose between a white/beige 1800 layout, so it's like win keyless but with short right shift. They have a white/beige set in the 3000 layout, which is win keyless with standard shift. So that's what you want if you're going to be using a like a win keyless TKL. And then there's also a white on black set in the 3000 layout, but this one is a little bit more modern. This is the standard 104 layout, so it doesn't have like 1.5U controls and alts. It's all 1.25 at the bottom row, so it does include Windows keys. So this is a bit less OG, but still cherry profile double shot if you're into that sort of thing. Prices, not too bad. So the 1800 layout, the white and beige is 45 plus shipping, $45 US, sorry. And the long shift version of the white and beige, which is like your standard win keyless TKL, is $55 plus shipping. And the white on black is 85 plus shipping, so quite a bit more there. He does have limits. It looks like... Oh, okay, so he added some slots. So for the first option, there's apparently 19 total units, and he's already sold 16 of those. And for the long shift version, there's 14 sold out of 20, so 6 more of those left. And then 4 out of 10 have been sold for the white on black, so 6 more of those to be had. So he's coming up towards the end of the maximum order quantity. So if this is something you're interested in, probably jump on it soon. I mean, $55 plus shipping, not too bad of a price if you want to outfit your win keyless TKL. So not too bad, honestly, if you want those cherry profile double shots, and you don't want to shell out buku bucks for a GMK 9009 set or something.
Yeah.
Shipping is from the U.S., so shouldn't be too bad if you're in the U.S. If you're outside, then hopefully it's not terrible. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
It's nice that someone found all these Taobao sets, and you know what, shipping from Taobao isn't always the best. So doing even like a mini group buy like this,
yep,
kind of works for a lot of people.
Exactly. He did say he will be cleaning each keycap set before shipment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, with denture tabs and warm water, so totally fine. He also is offering a retro bright service for the white and beige caps, so you'll have an option there too if that's more your thing. So pretty cool there if you're into that sort of thing.
Man, if I didn't get 2 BSP sets from the last BSP run, I'd consider getting some white beige long shifts.
Heck yes.
Or if the white and black had better compatibility. Oof, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Oof, indeed. So, speaking of things that make people go oof, custom TKLs. Seems to be quite a bit of them these days, last few months. And here's another one in the interest check. This is the, oh my god, this yellow font.
Oxalis
87, done by Nixtheria from Southeast Asia. Very interesting. Interesting sides.
Yeah, very Fiel-like, I guess, in those bezels.
8 degrees of angle. It's like
it looks like if the Fiel
mixed with a duck board.
Yeah, it looks like the Fiel and like the duck Orion had a baby.
Yeah, like
this is what happened.
The duck went up a mountain, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
This is the mountain duck.
All things considered, I think it looks pretty good.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, got a nice brass weight in there. Not too bad. 8 degrees of angle. I think that's pretty good. It's about as much as I'd like to go. Wait, wow, the weight's 3.6 kilograms, over 8 pounds.
Yeah,
that's pretty heavy.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at 8 degrees of angle, 60, 61 analyzed aluminum. You could either choose a stainless steel or brass plate. The brass plate is going to be with a polished finish, so no raw finish that's going to get nasty. The weight is about 3.6 kilograms, which is about 8 pounds. A87 layout PCB, QMK firmware, awesome. Comes with a hard shell case, which I really liked for my Mira. I'm happy more customs are doing this. Pricing. Let's look at the top MOQ. Assuming this hits all the way up to 100, we're looking at $375 US plus shipping plus the PP fees. At 50, we're looking at 400, which is $25 more. This price is the case, stainless steel plate, brass weight, and PCB. If you want to get that brass plate upgrade, it's only $15 more. If you want to add an additional stainless steel plate, 30, additional brass plate, 50, additional PCB, 50. There's an intercheck form. Fill it out when you get a chance.
Yeah. Price at the 100 MOQ is not too bad. It's about what's to be expected from a pretty nice TKL that also gives you the PCB weight and plate with the case. So.
Case. I mean, man, keyboards that come with, you know, nice cases. Like we got this for the Mira, we got our TX60s, which came in a baller case, right? Like when they kind of bundle it, I'm kind of okay suddenly, a bit more okay paying the high prices that some customs fetch, when at least they're giving us these goodies with them. You know, at least they're putting money toward making the presentation, which for a custom keyboard is a big part of it. Wonderful.
Yep. So this is still an IC forum, but he's got a fair amount of info and renders and stuff here. So fill out that IC forum if that's something you're into, and get this GB going.
If this was like very, very soon and I didn't already get the 280, I would honestly very much consider this.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good.
Looks pretty nice. I like those sides, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I like the mix between duck and Fiel here, for better or worse.
The duck climbing
the
mountain.
Climbing the mountain. This is a mountain duck. It's a rare breed, but this is proof that they exist, and it's not a mythical creature. You know what I am saying?
I know what you're saying.
Thank you.
Right.
Let's move on. This uses the A87 PCB, but speaking of A87 PCBs, we have a group buy by C Cubed for the C Cubed LD and RGB 80% PCB, which has the same A87 B87 footprint, and it's a PCB for TKLs, NKRO for USB, 200 plus media keys, full in-switch SMD RGBs pre-soldered with 20 LEDs under 64 levels of brightness, mini USB ports. Type-C port will be available in the future. Software supports Windows 7 and Windows 10. Pretty cool. This fits a decent amount of boards now. So the group buy is going on. Just started. For a single PCB, you are looking at $50 plus $25 shipping, plus fee. Total of $75 for a single one. Of course, as you buy more, they scale a bit more appropriately. Not really. Oh, this is the shipping does.
Plus, the PCB says Excalibur on it.
Oof.
That's pretty cool.
I hope I'm reading this right, but if you look at the price, it says PC plate $20. Is that $20 for a polycarbonate TKL plate? For what keyboard it fits, I don't know.
Wait, no. Under the price section, one PCB is $50.
No, keep going down. It says PC plate for $20.
Polycarbonate plate for $20?
Cool.
But are there any drop-in TKLs? Like, what would the plate even go for? Like, go on?
I don't know, but that's interesting. Man, these, I might want to try one of these PCBs.
You should. You should.
Oh, so for the PC plate, they ask us they could make a Moon Mira or Mira SE plate from the CAD files they have, or if you send them a CAD file, they'll make you a polycarbonate plate. Awesome. I should get one for my Mira.
Yeah. $20 is pretty good.
I could get one for my Mira, and then if it's A87, I could possibly get one for my Duck Unicorn coming in. Ooh.
So this is still an interest check phase by the look of it.
No, this is group buy. There's the order here.
Is it?
Yeah.
At the top, he's... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, he just links the IC thread. My bad. My apologies. The first thing in the thing it says IC thread, but it isn't linked to a thread. Okay, so group buy phase. Cool. Fill out the form there right at the bottom. Price is pretty reasonable. Like $50 is about right for a PCB like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might get 2 of these, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, obviously, there's a fairly hefty shipping price, $25 for shipping and fee. So I guess one PCB is $75 when you look at it this way.
Man, a polycarbonate plate for my Mira? What? That's yeah. I think I'm definitely gonna have to get some of this with that. Oof. Yeah. I think I might, because that's looking pretty cool. Speaking of things that are pretty cool, a lot of you guys who are a bit older in the community may remember Keychatter actually producing content. Now they're back to actually do that again. There is a new editor-in-chief of Keychatter, whose name is Seth. I look forward to Keychatter content. I used to read a good amount of Keychatter when I was brand new in the community and back when they were very, very active. Awesome. Congratulations, Seth, for your new position, and I look forward to new Keychatter content. And you should too, if you watch the show and you enjoyed keyboard content, keyboard news. I hope this is another great avenue for it.
Yep, I used to read a lot of Keychatter as well. The guy that was running it before, Andy Living Speed Bump, who is a nice guy, he had some great articles there, and I read a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice.
So,
right.
Excited to see where that takes us. Speaking about where things will be taking us, let's talk about Top Clack, where we're heading, what we're doing, and where Top Clack is hoping to take us and take the community.
For sure. You should switch back to the normal...
I did.
Okay,
I got
sorry.
you.
Okay, okay, cool. So, we're going to talk a little about the M6 giveaway. We will announce the winner very soon, but we just want to talk a little bit about the way the forum works and kind of what was going on. So the purpose of this was mainly because, and if you, again earlier, like I said, if you followed the forum, if you read the forum, filled out the forum, you knew that we asked what people liked about Top Clack and what people disliked about Top Clack, and I really asked people to be honest about this one, because the reason I wanted to do this is because I wanted to see what people thought we were doing right and what people thought we were doing wrong, and potentially make changes for the future of Top Clack. So I actually made a little summed up list on mainly what people disliked, because I thought that was more beneficial.
Yeah, what criticism is way more beneficial.
Yeah, it honestly is. I mean, the things that people liked were all like pretty generic basic stuff, which is fine, totally fine. And there's a lot of people that said they didn't dislike anything about the show, and that's totally fine as well. But I'm just going to go through this brief list that I prepared of dislikes that I think they like. Pretty much all these came up multiple times, so that's kind of what made me want to write them down. So we'll start off quickly here. The sponsor spot segment needs more structure and better efficiency. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So we tend to ramble a lot, and because we have 4 sponsors, that can often last like 5 or 10 minutes, just because we just talk about like random things. So something I did try in the past for like 1 episode, and I do plan to do it again, is I written sponsor spots that we would read that were like much shorter and much quicker.
30 seconds each, so it would have been 2 minutes for all the sponsors.
Or less. It was really effective, but the problem I had with that was it sounded way more advertisey. So I mean, but that totally makes sense because you're reading it from like a script basically. That's something I'm totally willing to do again. I will definitely put in the effort to write some of those, no problem. It'll save several minutes on the show, and people won't have to sit through a 5 or 10 minute sponsor segment.
Yes.
So that'll be cool. Totally agree there, and I will be all over that, and we'll try that out, and hopefully people will like that more.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, and a lot of these are kind of categorized under like just more content or better content, and you'll notice that. But one thing here is lack of segment variety on the show. So, maybe adding more segments on the show of different things, maybe making it even, not even like a weekly thing during the show, as in, like, let's say 1 week we have a segment for this, and another week we have a segment for this, and then, we switch it up. So that way you're never quite sure what you're getting, and that way every show isn't necessarily the same, kind of. So
I was thinking of how to address it as well, and it kind of ties into another, I know, a big complaint a lot of people have is like, we have no formalized schedules for build streams, for example, for keyboard tours, which is kind of understandable on our point of view, because sometimes we have nothing to build, or we don't have the time. But I was thinking, maybe what if, for example, I just regularized, at any rate, at least my keyboard tours, with Brian joining me when he can, and Brian doing his when he can as well, would at least maybe one more consistent show of that sort be great. And when I don't have keyboard tours, I could just talk about keyboards and stuff, because for some reason, at least from one keyboard tours, people liked it when I drew graphs on paper.
Yeah. So this actually came up a couple times, as people were like, oh, I actually really love keyboard chores, but I wish it was more consistent. And I'm like, well, we don't always have things to do. I mean, we usually have things to do, but like a lot of times it's really not that interesting. Like, you've been watching me lube switches for the last 2 build streams. Like, it's really not that exciting. But you know, some people like that. But you know, we don't necessarily always have things to do, and that's why they're seemingly kind of random. Although we do try to do them like most Fridays, it seems like, for the last month or two. So we'll try to get something a little bit more consistent there. Definitely. This next one I think is definitely true, and definitely something we can work on. So, too much rant during the main show about personal opinions. Totally get it. I catch myself doing it. Huey does it. We both do it. You know, and actually, what's funny is a lot of people put down stuff like "Stop hating on ISO," "Stop hating on SA." We get it. I mean, most of the time we say stuff like that, we're joking. I mean, I don't actually hate SA. I don't actually hate ISO. Like, people like different things, and that's totally fine. I respect them for what they are, and I'm glad they're in the community. I think they help a lot of people, and you know, I totally get that. But so we'll work on trying to be a little bit less opinionated, but also when we are, take it with a grain of salt, because we're not, you know, we're trying to make jokes all the time too. Like, just because I don't use ISO doesn't make ISO bad. But yes, definitely something we'll be working on. Here's another one that we've gotten a couple times lately: potential bias on sponsored products. Okay,
that's fair.
I thought about this one actually a lot before the stream, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Like, I don't think I've ever actually shown any bias towards like a sponsor's product. I try to be as honest as I can about everything. Some things I like, some things I don't like. And I brought this up before, but we chose sponsors that we like. We like them as people, we like what they do, and we like a lot of the products that they have. And if the goal was just to get as many sponsors as possible, we'd have more sponsors, and we probably wouldn't like a lot of them. But that wasn't the goal. The goal was to pick sponsors and actually partner with people that we like and that do cool things. So
I'm gonna be completely transparent. Yeah, I'm gonna be completely transparent on our sponsors, on why they're our sponsors. Okay, we've actually been approached by a few other people for sponsorships, but we haven't just straight up just said yes to every single person. I actually screen every sponsor we have. I talk about it with Brian. I do more screening. I have at least 1 to 2 meetings with the potential sponsor before they're even signed on with us. And this is kind of a big thing because we care about who our sponsors are. We care about whether or not we like them, they like us. And why would we don't just straight up choose like a sponsor we'd hate or we would dislike.
And furthermore, actually, we make our contracts for sponsors very simple and very straightforward and very easy. One thing that we have is if either party, either the sponsor or Top Clack, feels that the other is doing a disservice to the community in any way, you can cancel on the spot. No questions asked. Like, it's that easy.
I know it sounds crazy. Like, we have contracts.
Yeah, like it's not a complicated thing, and like, we chose the sponsors we have because we like what they do, and so when they give us stuff to review, it's often stuff we like because we chose them because we like their stuff. So like, when you see us, you know, review like a White Fox or whatever, like, yeah, it's not the greatest keyboard ever, but it does a lot of cool things, you know, stuff like that. So I don't know. So, I mean, sometimes products suck, but you know, a lot of the times the products that our sponsors put out don't.
Sometimes products need a lot of sorbethane to sound better.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, the K-type. The K-type from Input Club sounds awful. Like, the stock keyboard sounds awful. The stabs terrible.
What's next on that list?
Yeah, sorry for trailing off too much there. Which is another.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this all ties into the last two, but too much personal bias. So, like I said again, things like SA, ISO, things that we perceivably hate on, but like we don't really hate. All right, here's another one pertaining to the Discord. Discord gets memey, and it's hard for newbies to fit in. That's something we're working a lot on right now, actually.
There was a big Discord refresh, basically. Just the other day, we've now included 2 more full-time moderators, Chris and Chris. We've definitely reorganized the Discord quite a bit. A lot of things have happened, so maybe if you were put off at the beginning, I definitely recommend you come back and say hi again. Things have definitely changed a lot in the Discord, and
channels are going to be more on topic.
Yeah,
they're going to be a little bit more friendly, a little bit more mature.
So one thing we definitely noticed is it definitely kind of strayed from 8 months ago. When is it 8 months ago now that we've started the show? 7 months, 8 months, 8 months. People have been subscribing.
Show?
Now. Yeah, I'm sorry. The 1 year since the 1 year anniversary since we've had the Discord. It's basically
yeah, but it's about
8 months,
September,
right? So we took a long hard think and we're like, this is different from our original goal of this Discord. It's not just to be a cool friends club of Top Clack. We want the Discord to be a place for anyone, whether they're experienced, whether they're new, whether they're intermediate in the hobby, can be friendly to each other and can help each other learn and advance their own knowledge in keyboards.
Yeah, and over the last month or two, we've had very good and active people in the Discord just leave, and I often catch up with them, and I'm like, hey, is something going on? Is everything okay? It's kind of odd to see you leave, and they're like, it's like everything's fine. The Discord was just getting way too memey and too out of control and too unfocused, and I was like, okay, I got you. And when you have 5, 10, 15 people telling you this, that people that you trust, that really active, mature, good people in the community, it's like, okay, well, we got to take a step back. We got to kind of redo things here and think about what's going on. And so that's something we are currently working on. It should improve little by little over time.
Yes.
All right. So this kind of ties into the lack of segment variety earlier, but a community spotlight segment. So let's say whether we have someone on the show or not, but we put the spotlight on someone, maybe a community member, maybe a vendor or something, being like, hey, this person did awesome on this, or they really stepped up here, or they're really good because of X and Y and Z, something like that. So that could be something.
Future. Whether it's going to be integrated in the main show or something we do separately from the show, it is something we've thought about, and we're still thinking about how to incorporate it into Top Clack as a brand, because we care about the community.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this a lot yesterday, actually, and I was like, it'd be kind of interesting to do a video series on Top Clack where it's not like an interview segment, but people send in videos of who they are and what got them into the community and stuff like that. So I don't know, that's something for maybe a little bit in the future, but we'll I'm definitely I'm keeping notes, keeping info, and we'll get to stuff, and we'll try to incorporate some new cool things. And this also kind of ties into this, because a couple people brought up having guests that are not quite as prominent. So people that aren't necessarily vendors, group buy runners, artisan casters, people that are really epic, like Ryan Norbauer and Hata, stuff like that. Just having, just enthusiasts on the show. And that definitely could be a thing. We'll have to explore that a little bit more. Next one, a couple people did actually bring up going back to our old structure of having guests on the entire episode. And I will tell you right now, that's probably not going to happen, because it's way better now than it was before. You guys might not think so.
Yeah, you guys might have not seen enough of those older episodes, but it was rough. Yeah. It really was.
Yeah, and when we have a guest like, Pudsey on or something, it's totally fine, because he is very in tune with the community. He reads and talks a lot all day, every day, about keyboards. So he knows stuff. He knows what's going on. So the news would have been great with him. But then you have other people I'm gonna pick on someone like Rama, or we had Booper on. I mean, this was a while ago, but back when we had guests on during the news section, and people like that, not everyone follows what's going on in the community. They just do their own thing, and that's fine. So we'd spend so much time being like, okay, so how do you feel about this? And they'd be like, I don't know. I don't follow news, and I don't really care about this and that, and I only care about this and this. And it's that makes for kind of vague and convoluted and not very entertaining content. And it also makes the news section quite a bit longer, and not necessarily in a good way. So that's the main reason we don't do that anymore. A couple people suggested using a Discord for all of our audio, since Skype can suck. Yeah, we have been leaning more towards Discord.
We've been
for
using
audio.
it for keyboard tours for the last 2 or 3 keyboard tours. We've been using Discord for audio, and it seems like it's been pretty stable and holding well. We tried video the last time, and then we immediately after 2 minutes before the stream, I'm like, no, nah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's something we can kind of work on as well. We definitely want good audio and video quality whenever possible, obviously. Um, this something that seemed to bother a lot of people. This was the overwhelming majority of dislikes in the Google forums was the time of the show. And it seems most of the people that had a problem with that were people that are, in the EU, in Australia, people that are outside the US. And Huey and I have talked about this before, and, no matter what time we do the show, we're going to unintentionally alienate people. Because that's just the way it works. People around the world have different times. And they have different schedules. People are not always available. So, no matter what time we do, we're going to have people that can join us and people that cannot join us. No matter what time we do. So that's kind of a bummer. But, something I've kind of been thinking about is maybe picking some other times that might work for Huey and myself and doing like a straw poll and seeing what people actually prefer, if they want us to keep our normal time or maybe swap it up a little bit. There are other times that we could do, other days, slightly different time frames. So possibly doing a little straw poll on that might be something to consider for us.
Yeah.
Here's another one I've gotten a few times. Switch the podcast to iTunes. So, for whatever reason, a lot of people aren't really into the fact that we use Podbean. I think we use it because it's cheaper or something. I'm not really sure.
There was a reason. I mean, I'll look into iTunes again in the very near future.
A lot of people are like, "Hey, just put it on iTunes." Saying, "Okay, we'll work on that.
We'll look into it."
Here's another one that's been happening a lot lately. Add markers on YouTube videos for topics. So like timestamps on YouTube vids. That's something. Something we could start doing.
I did it for like 2 episodes, and then I forgot the last 2 episodes again after that. That was my beat. Yeah. I dropped the ball there.
Yeah, it's something we can do. It'd be really cool if we had like a volunteer that could just do that for us. Because we often don't really have a ton of time to spare with the things that we're doing, both on Top Clack and in real life, to scrub through an episode and be like, okay, here's where we started talking about this, here's where we stopped talking about that, here's this. I get that it's super helpful as a viewer to be able to have that, and that's something we can work on. But having like a volunteer to help us out with that would be immensely helpful. Okay, here's another one that came up a lot. Branching out with more info, i.e. hand wiring, Alps, artisans, vintage stuff, things that aren't just, the modern keyboard era that we generally talk about on the show. So that could be a thing. That could be a thing. Yeah, because a lot of people are complaining we don't talk enough about artisans or, vintage stuff, Alps, stuff like that, or, hand wiring. But that's something we can work on too. And these next couple are kind of just more content. People want more reviews. They want more consistent YouTube uploads. I've had a couple people ask for just like an artisan section, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought it might be kind of cool to like maybe bring someone else on, an artisan expert that we trust, and maybe do like a weekly or monthly like artisan kind of roundup in the community, like on like a YouTube video or something. That's probably not something that Huey or me would personally do because we're not really into artisans. But it would be cool to have that information because there are people that are into artisans. Website updates. We gotta keep the website a little bit cleaner, keep it up to date. I know a lot of like the About Me stuff is kind of like out of date anyways. And other stuff as well. We need to add some more things to it as well. And last but not least, this is a big one that Huey and a few other people are working pretty hard on right now, is community wiki. So a couple people have been asking us for just like, our goal is to like help like nurture newcomers in the community and make sure the information is all out there and public and easy to find. And this is going to be spearheading that super hard.
So I am working on this really closely. There's 2 groups of volunteers we initially need now. One, if you know anything about hosting a wiki and backend stuff, hit up Geo. He's handling that. It seems like mostly all under control. But if you want to volunteer on that, PM Geo or PM myself, and I'll get you involved. And the second group of volunteers we're looking for now is people who want to help out with front end, how the site looks itself and the design of it. which is still going to be very basic because it's going to be, like kind of like a wiki basically. And for everything else, once at least the back end is in place, I'll be opening up for volunteers for editors, article writers, and people to help push on content and push on knowledge-based articles onto that wiki. It's a project I've been working on. Yay. So
yeah,
hopefully
it's coming,
that'll
and
help everyone.
it's gonna be amazing. It's truly gonna be pretty awesome. Anyways, that was the end of my kind of short list of things that Top Clack can add, change, alter, and a lot of good things there. A lot of people were very helpful with what they disliked about Top Clack, and these are things we're definitely be taking very seriously moving forward to try to make Top Clack better, more polished, more helpful. So keep that in mind. That's coming. Anyways, on to the more fun things.
Who won the M6?
So
question of the week.
Yep.
How many entries did we get?
There were 239 entries. Right before the show, I went to random.org. I went, minimum 1, maximum 239, which is how many entries we had. And the number was 89. So I went to 89. See who this is. And it is C.I. Jansen. So he is the winner of the M6A Special Blue Edition. And if I remember that username correctly, he has been around for a little while, so that's kind of cool. He's someone that actually supports. I'm not going to read what else he wrote because it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, C.I. Jansen is our winner. I don't know if he's watching right now, but I will message him after the show and get his shipping info and stuff. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. If you guys saw the video on that, you saw how spectacular that special blue M6 does look. Love it. Cool. So there you go. There's your winner for that. And hopefully we'll have more cool things to give away very soon. Huey and I are kind of brainstorming on more giveaway things.
I have 1 or 2 things possibly I can do very soon, but we'll see. So,
heck yeah.
Before we get onto our guests, of course, we have to talk about our sponsors who make the show possible. Starting off, all of you make this show possible because you watch us, you support us, you care about us, and we care about you. Thank you everyone who's watching and who's going to be watching the VOD for helping support Top Clack. Wouldn't be possible without you. Also wouldn't be possible without our partners. Let's start first with Novelkeys. Check out the box roll switches. Those are brand new. Those are what's in right now if you're into big tactile switches. Built my Chewy 60. Loving it.
Sweet.
Next sponsor, Brian.
Heck yeah. Don't worry. We'll get more streamlined at this. It'll be better. It'll be better next episode. We also have Info Club. Conor.store is their storefront. You check that out. This link over here. You can pick up all sorts of things, including White Foxes, the new DSA Arcane and Plague key sets. You can get speakers while you're there because why not? Trouble Minds might still be going on there, and of course you can pick up Hako switches as well. The Violets, the Clears, and the Trues, all very nice for their price. IMO.
Next up is the Beast in the East, Z Frontier, hitting you up with a ton of JTK sets, hitting you up with a ton of GMK sets, and always running all kinds of different keyboards. Hit them up, especially if you're looking for that JTK Hana in group buy, or wanting to pick up the JTK Aquas once they release, hopefully soon. They have plenty of sets in stock for JTK and GMK. Check out the Beast in the East. Who's next, Brian?
Yeah. Finally, we have... Oh, crap. Come on. We have zealpc.net. If you have been in the community for a while, you probably are very aware of who Zeal is. Does very popular tactile switches. The Zelios, they're in their 11th round right now, which you can check out. Of course, he's got linear switches as well. I like the Telios more than the Zelios personally. So there's that. Of course, you can also pick up one of those sweet 60% Zeal 60 PCBs with the fancy RGs and Bs. Rugaba. And of course, transparent stabs with gold wires, etc., etc. Lots of cool things going on there. Switches. All right. Get them. Got them.
Good. Insert waiting / transition here. Transition here.
Remix.
Let's add Mr. Woodkeys to this call. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Banana phone.
Usually it rings for me too, I think, but it wasn't this time.
It is not ringing this time. Ring, ring, ring.
Hmm.
Oh. Perfect. It is loading in. Welcome, Cole. Welcome, Woodkeys, to Top Clack.
Howdy.
Hey, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Fantastic.
I'm a bit busy week as always, but it's good to be on.
Okay, cool. So, for anybody that might not be aware of who you are, can you give us just a little bit of a rundown, a little backstory on exactly who you are and what you do and have been doing in this community?
If you didn't guess by the name, I make stuff out of wood. I got started about a little over a year ago. A friend of mine wanted to make a keyboard. He had another friend that was into mechanical keyboards, and he was like, "Hey, you've been doing this stuff with the CNC. You want to help me make a case for this keyboard out of wood?" I was like, "Sure, that sounds like fun." Got started in that. Got in way deep, and so I've been building a lot of different keyboards out of wood. Got into PCB design, kind of going back to some of the engineering stuff I'd done in college, and at this point I've got to where I've done keyboards from start to finish, the whole 9 yards, PCB all the way up. So
very cool.
That's kind of the real short of it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm actually gonna link your site in chat here so people can check it out. Woodkeys.click, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right, cool. So they can check out products there. So what kind of things have you done so far? Exactly, things that people might have seen but not realized it was you.
Yeah. So back in the fall, I ran a group buy for the Miera. Was the first keyboard on the market with the low profile Kale chalk switches. This one I've been playing around with some alternate keycaps on it, but that was fun. Learned a lot about what to do, what not to do on the group buy, and I even before that I did a couple of group buys for some custom stainless steel plates, so you could send me your files and get them cut, ship them out, get those lower prices for people. So that I'm still, I know I've had a lot of people ask, I'm still trying to get that service back up and running, trying to streamline it, because it did take an incredible amount of effort to put that all together. Past that, like I said, I've been doing some PCB design. I did some stuff for Novel Keys that's coming up soon. Did the big switch cases and PCBs for the big switch. This is honestly one of the things that has sold the best. People really like this. This is just fascinating. I mean, even people outside of mechanical keyboards get what this is. It's
absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
It's like my son said when he walked in my office and saw it sitting there. He's like, "It's so big." It's just like that's what everybody sees. I also got into doing some custom case design. So I designed this. It's kind of hard to see in the lighting, but it's kind of very unique, different look. That's not something you see every day.
Wow. That is
so.
It has kind of like a retro jukebox kind of vibe.
It does.
Too.
Yeah, I finally got jukebox caps to put on it, so I think it really fits.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the fenders on a '57 Chevy a little bit. Just pretty much anything and everything. I still do a lot of wood cases. Still got some sales open right now for the big switch cases. So I've got not just the single switch, but I've also got a 2-key, a 3-key, so you can have one of each type, and then a 4-key that some people really wanted. It's a 2x2. So four switches.
Oh my gosh.
So you thought your duck was expensive, Put 4 big switches in a custom enclosure.
Is there a PCB for multiple switches?
Yes. It has not been shipped to anyone yet, but there is a PCB. I don't have one sitting here by me, but they're on their way. And those will ship with the cases. So yeah, you can get the full underglow. You can get full function macro pad with GMK programmability and all whatever you want to do in there. So it's actually a lot more functional than a single key, believe it or not. It's hard to imagine.
Almost
more
2, 3,
functionality.
or even 4 times as functional. Amazing. So some people are talking about this scarlet bandana in chat. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so we so some guys in a Discord that I'm in, we kept seeing these pictures pop up of kind of the same shot with different keycaps. A user posted the red scarf, and I can't even remember the whole string of characters after the red scarf version 2B plus or something like that. So we were kind of poking fun at the name a little bit and came up with the Scarlet Bandana version 4 Mark II. Yeah, so what was a meme in the Discord turned into an actual product that we're working on. So we have the limited edition Scarlet Bandana PCB with so it's like if you're not familiar with it, it's got let's see which way I'm looking at it. This way is the front. So this would be your 2 columns of macro keys over here, and then basically 65% over here. So like the VEA, but not split.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like red scarf.
Or RS-78 basically.
RS-78. That's or KMac. There's actually several of them with the same layout. So this one has hot swap sockets with the Kel MX hot swap sockets, so you can swap switches out, and it's got because of the hot swap sockets, it doesn't have all the layout support that the other ones do. So it's got a split backspace option and a split spacebar option. That's pretty much the only options. And we got together and I had I guess 10 or so other people. We got an order put in for some custom cases. They're going to be top mount, brass plate, aluminum machine, RGB underglow, whole 9 yards. So it's going to be a pretty nice case, and I'm hoping assuming this little mini private group buy goes well, we're gonna have that launched probably mid-June, something like that. So be on the lookout for that.
Cool. Awesome. So what other kind of projects do you have currently going on that other people might be interested in buying?
So I've got 2 things that are going right now. So in addition to the big switch cases, I've actually just put in the order for the wooden ones, but I extended the aluminum cases. So I've got some aluminum cases for the big switch. So a single aluminum case. Still got the acrylic clear mid layer. It's basically the same design as this, but it's aluminum top and bottom, anodized, and so that's going through tomorrow. So that the pre-orders are open until tomorrow, and also along with that, there is an option for a solid brass version. I did that to 10 units. 6 of them are already gone. So if you want to get in on that, tomorrow's the last day. That'd be Friday the 25th. If you're watching this on the VOD, you might have missed out. But yeah, so we're gonna have a solid brass. It's gonna weigh probably over 3 pounds.
Ooh. Just for the big switch.
Just for the big switch. And
I love how this has just became like this.
Yeah,
boy.
So I'm really excited about that. And then also the plank is coming out, the Rev 6 plank. You can get those PCBs. I've partnered with Jack from OLKB. You can get those PCBs on my site along with the cases. So I have the wood cases that I've been offering. I've got a low profile and a high profile version. In addition, I have a new aluminum high profile angled case. I think you had it on the news a week or 2 ago.
The Apex.
The
Right?
Apex.
Yes.
Apex. Yes, the Apex, the group buy runs through the end of this month, end of May, and it's depending on finish, it's going to be 95 for powder coat or 115 for anodized, and Cerakote is also an option. I'm looking at adding a Stormtrooper white Cerakote. Some people wanted something different than the bone white powder coat finish, which is kind of a creamy off-white. Really kind of along the lines of the jukebox legend alphas, you know, kind of that color. But the Stormtrooper white is very, very white, as you would imagine. And the Cerakote I'm pretty excited about because the powder coat gives it a real thick finish, but the Cerakote I've seen some samples and it's really almost looks like anodizing. It's such a thinner coat than a powder coat. So really excited about that. I left my prototype in the other room. I cut a prototype out from a piece of HDPE cutting board for the Apex, and so it looks kind of cool. It's made, you know, obviously made of plastic cutting board. So I actually had some people that asked if I was going to sell those. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, always got new stuff in the works. Let's see what else has been going on. Oh, I did the 5-week build series. Finished up a few weeks ago. So over a 5-week period, I one day a week I did PCB design, case design, PCB assembly, and case CNC, and you know, built a finished keyboard start to finish. And those videos are up on YouTube if anyone's. I've already had several people tell me that they've been kind of watching those and seeing how keyboards are done. So unfortunately I haven't edited them for length, so they're kind of just raw live stream video. It's not the easiest thing to watch. You know, anybody wants to volunteer to remix those?
What is your YouTube username so people can look that up?
It is Woodkeys.
Just Woodkeys? Okay.
Yeah, and that's linked all over the place too. So it's linked from my website over somewhere. I think it's down at the bottom of the website. If it's not, I'll make sure it gets added. But I think that page is still posted on the front page of the website as well, so it should be right there. So yeah, I've got a lot of new ideas in the works, bouncing around back in the back of my head. Some of them have started, some of them not. So you know, there's always something new.
So
just because a few people are asking about it, are you planning on doing a high-profile big switch case?
Yeah, high-profile big switch case. I don't have any plans for that. I think it would be interesting.
You should have a plan for that.
I did have a suggestion to make the 4-key, instead of making a 2x2 layout, to make it like an arrow key layout.
Oh.
So have the 3 across the bottom, 1 on the top. There'll do that.
Wow. Who has this kind of desk space?
That's what I want. I certainly.
There's no way I could.
So it seems like, you know, you said you've been in for a little over a year now into the hobby, and you know, you started from making a case for your friend to very recently doing your whole series of designing a keyboard, designing a PCB, putting it all together with everyone. Throughout this year-long journey that you're still going through, what are some of the highlights?
Highlights. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I've enjoyed all of it. I really, you know, from the first person that actually bought one of my cases, you know, to running the group buys, even though they can be pretty stressful. I have to say, I did mention a minute ago, I'm finishing up shipping out the orders for the Comatose group buy. We did aluminum let split cases. Those are going out. I dropped off a bunch of them this morning. That's been an adventure. There's a lot to learn about manufacturing and you know, working with machine shops, and anything that could go wrong has gone wrong on that project. I had to switch you know, machine shops because the first one got too busy and couldn't finish, so half of them were done at one place, half of them were done at another. That would be the left half and the right half.
Oh wow.
Not, you know, so that it was, and then of course, you know, when they got finished with the right halves, they realized that I had changed the model in the meantime, and the corner radius didn't match, so they had to go back and refix that. Then they got shipped off to anodizing, and they didn't blast them first, so they kind of had some tool marks shown
Oh, no.
through. So they had to go back and be re-anodized, and then I got some of them that were powder coated, and they didn't do them right, so they had hook marks from the powder coating. It's been an adventure, but like I said, I've learned a whole lot about sourcing products and materials and working with vendors, and I think that's been the most enjoyable thing for me, is just kind of learn all this stuff, that what goes into making something like this happen, and so hopefully I can have everything run smoother in the future because of that. But those cases, despite all the problems, I think they came out really great. The anodizing is some of the best that I've seen. The powder coating looks great on them, and so yeah, I'm hoping that everybody will get those and be happy with them and get those builds done, so we can move on, do more exciting stuff. But and just a side note on that, one of the things that I've tried to do is keep my products manufactured in the U.S. Not that there's anything wrong with manufacturing offshore, but I feel like it's been done. That's what people do, and I want to prove that you can take that same product and you can sell it at a competitive price for something that's made in the U.S. You don't have to go take it offshore to get it done at those prices. So that's kind of been my my goal in some of this stuff. Kind of my personal challenge was to prove that it's possible. So
hey, as long as it's been working.
For better or worse, I think I'm there. It's amazing how many people, even just in my little town of like 200,000 or 300,000 people, how many places offer services that I can leverage. From machine shops to powder coating and just all sorts of stuff. I don't even have to leave town. I don't even have to go to Houston, which is an hour and a half away, to get some of this stuff done. I can get it done here in a fairly small town, and so I like that. I like to be able to support those people and build a quality product locally.
Very cool. Very cool.
So.
Are keyboards your full-time profession?
Oh no, no. Sometimes it seems like it. I could probably spend that much time on it, but no, I'm a software engineer. Do mostly Java programming, but I work from home, so my hours are flexible, and I work on a contract basis, so I can kind of ebb and flow when I need to, and so yeah, probably not going to replace my full-time career anytime soon. I mean, maybe if I hit a couple of big 1,000 unit run, like the Kira or something, but there seems to be a market. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. You just gotta find what works.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can move into a little bit of Q&A. So if you guys in the chat have questions, make sure you use the tag @TopClack so we can see them. Questions for Woodkeys or ourselves, either is totally fine. But of course, we have to start you out with the classic. Huey, please read him his rights.
Cool. Do you prefer pancakes or waffles, and why?
Oh, yeah, see, this is a tough one. I think about it every time I watch the show. It depends, right? Like, most of the time I would say waffles. I like the crispy texture. I like that. There's a place here in town, a diner car, that serves the absolute best pancakes in the world. They taste like cake batter.
Wow.
So if we're going there, it's pancakes. Yeah. Actually, given the option though, I'd go with French toast. So.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Definitely understandable.
It's not pancakes or waffles, but usually that's my go-to. So.
All right, Gio, starting us off. Why Java, and what made you evil?
Oh, that's one of those things. I went through school when they were teaching Java in high school, teaching Java. Well, no, they were teaching C in high school, teaching Java in college. That's what I learned. That's what I know. I know it backward and forward. I can do anything. I know. I know it. I know it well. I know its idiosyncrasies. I know its quirks. I know what to avoid and what to do. So, yeah. I've gone through a lot of things, much like I was saying earlier, like proving a point. I've written stuff just to prove that I can write Java code that's just as fast as anything else. So
fair enough. All right, Morning Coffee is asking brass case with wood weight. It's not a weight at that point. It's an accent.
It's a beautiful accent.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I'm really trying to figure out is kind of that fusion of different materials, how to build a case with part metal, part wood, and have it be seamless and fitting and not not have gaps. And that sort of really something I really want to tackle and have out there.
Maybe an example you can look toward. It's still in production, but it was run by our partner Z Frontier. The FR87. It was a TKL, all aluminum, but the back portion. So it's a TKL that also has Bluetooth capability, and it takes the AAA batteries. And for the battery cover, you had an option of having that be made out of wood as well, which I thought was a cool way to add an accent for a part that you'd actually somewhat regularly get to for replacing batteries.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely check that out. And I've seen products out there. People build stuff that's aluminum and wood and it's seamless, and I assume it's like epoxied together and stuff. It's definitely something I'm hoping to tackle in the near future.
Sweet. Sounds good. All right. Melodit is asking, so when people say OG Cherry stabilizers are better, are they referring to both the housings and wires, or the wires not matter much?
The wires do matter.
The wires, yeah, the thickness
Extremely
of the wire matters a lot. Whenever you get like those knockoff like Cherry clone stabs that are usually made in China, and they rattle a lot, it's usually, well, it's for multiple things, but one of it is the wire is usually noticeably thinner, and so it moves around more. It doesn't clip in and stay as tight in the plastic clips on the back of the housings. So yeah, definitely matters. Ham Kenobi is asking, what is your favorite ortho key set?
Favorite ortho key set? That would have to be 9009 GMK ortho, right? I forgot to mention that. I saw it scroll by in the chat earlier. I worked with Dixie Mech on that. We kind of tossed around this idea of how to build a GMK key set for ortho that didn't cost like $180, because you had to buy a base kit and a spacebar kit and a 40% add-on kit.
Yeah.
And so we again, we wanted to prove we could do it, and so we did it. We ran GMK Ortho 9009, and that he just got pictures of production this week, so that should be shipping out to him sometime in the next several weeks, probably mid-June, I think I heard. So I'm really excited about that.
Very cool. Yeah, we need more ortho sets in the community, man. Even though I'm not like an ortho user, I think it's something that is definitely needed. And like you had mentioned, like ortho users often get punished by having to spend so much extra on kits. It's pretty rough. But sometimes that's how it goes when you like things that are incredibly niche within a niche.
Yeah,
so it sucks, but maybe we're getting there. All right, Meow Meow and Meow is asking, will wood case influence the sound of a keyboard? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Greatly, usually.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of the wood cases out there. I personally would never make anything with walls that thin. It just looks like it would break. Looks like it would break. I don't even know how they make it. I make mine really thick, and the density of the wood really adds to the sound. I really like it. I'm tapping on a wood lit split right now. and it sounds great.
Nice. Lunar Sama is asking a question of Woodkeys. Does the Scarlet Bandana fit on the existing RS-78, and does it have RGB LEDs?
It does not fit on the existing RS-78 because I didn't try to make it fit. I didn't have any idea what the mounting points or anything were, so I just made my own, and I used 19mm spacing, so it won't fit anyway. And yes, it does have RGB underglow LEDs pre-soldered to the board. It does not have in-switch LED capability. It didn't.
And MCOM Renegade, yes, we did talk about the Scarlet Bandana a bit already earlier. You can check that out in the VOD. Christmas Kane, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, 2nd month in a row. Appreciate that, bud. Huang Vu is asking, so for a wood case, not CNC, tray mounted, what should I do with standoff? Also, which would sound the best and which would gonna look good with GMK 9009? Good questions.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about which wood to put with 9009. I really kind of need to see it. I think maybe I really like mahogany as kind of a general purpose, kind of in the middle kind of wood. Let me switch back over so I can see what I'm seeing. Yeah, this is and somebody else was asking to see the thick sides and stuff. So this is a plank case that's, you can see maybe, let's turn this light. It's pretty thick this way. The sides are, I typically make the sides at least like 1 centimeter thick. But yeah, this is mahogany. It's a medium colored wood. It's got a kind of slight reddish tint to it. So I don't know. This is Nantucket Selectric. It looks really good with it. I don't know what it's going to look like with 9009 yet. Yeah, I mean here's the let split that I'm typing on. Well, I'm gonna unplug it. It's let split A from that Canadian. So it's got the 3-degree angle. That's kind of what I've chosen as like my angle. I'm using SA R3 die set caps on here. I really, actually, that's what I type on most. I haven't typed on GMK much at all because there just aren't any GMK ortho sets, right? So I haven't typed on it on ortho yet.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely interested in that. But for the most part, I really love SA R3, or even this is sculpted. So I kind of like typing on. I mean, it's not super sculpted because it only goes up to R2 and not R1. But and then I have like R3 on the bottom row down here. So it's like 2, 3, 4, 3 kind of, except for the arrow keys. Again, trying to make a set that doesn't have an ortho kit fit an ortho board. I've got a whole row of blanks along the bottom.
Yeah.
All right. So he fit quite a few things in this question.
He did. I was going to come back to that. So
okay, cool.
So in terms of mounting the standoffs to the case, what I typically use are press fit brass inserts. They're made for injection molding, but they work pretty well in wood. You probably can't see them at all, but they're just like a little knurled brass insert. They've got little ribs on the sides, and you press them in there. It's actually kind of difficult to get them to press in without tearing up the sides. Aside from that, one thing that you can do that works is to just take a standoff with like a male to female standoff, and have a hole and put some epoxy down in it, and have the standoff screwed to either your plate or your PCB, and just drop it in there, and then you know that it's in the right place. Then you can unscrew the other thing off the top once it dries. So I actually think that's a lot better mounting method than the brass inserts. So probably going to be moving to that on some of my stuff, because I have trouble getting these to mount correctly, and then they, if the hole's not the right size, they pull out. So, if you epoxy that stuff in there, it's not going anywhere. So I think that's probably going to be, alternatively, you can drill a hole all the way through, and screw a screw in from the backside. But I feel like there's so much wood that gets lost when you machine out the top, that I like to keep the wood on the bottom so that you can at least see it if you flip it over.
Yeah. He also kind of weaved in which wood might sound the best during typing.
I haven't noticed much difference in sounds. I tend to prefer the denser woods in general. So, I mean, you're not going to build something out of pine. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be as solid. So,
Yeah.
like mahogany, walnut, cherry, maple, they're all going to be pretty similar.
Yeah, kind of similar to the way metal works. Usually, the denser the metal, the more metal you have, and a tighter enclosure will give you a deeper sound, a less hollow sound.
Yeah. Right. And I think like if you're talking about a musical instrument, the type of wood matters because the wood is thin, and so the properties of the wood are more prevalent. But when you're talking about like I said, I'm making them really thick on purpose, so the type of the wood is less contributing to the sound. But there is a lot of difference in weight in some of the exotic woods. So I built some cases for the Let Split Grow by out of Catalogs, and it's called like a Mexican ebony or Mexican ironwood. It is solid. It's like concrete or
Wow.
It's noticeably heavier than if you pick up walnut or something. It's still not anywhere near as heavy as aluminum, but it's really interesting wood. So
Interesting. Okay. MB Surfer is asking, this is a pretty long one too. Actually, he has several questions, so I'm just going to take this one at a time. Maybe we can kind of rapid fire a little bit. What got you started working on a contract basis? Did you own your own contracting business?
No, I responded to a job posting on Monster. That's about 6 years ago. So yeah.
All right, and he continues, I'm basically a code monkey at an agency at the moment and really looking to get a more flexible schedule. I can't stand the 9 to 5, but the pay is great. I would love to say that I'll be back in 3 hours if the waves are good, but I'll just work an extra 3 hours later that night. Any advice?
There's lots of stuff out there. I think there's a lot of people open to work from home type environments. There's a whole lot of contractors out there. It all depends on your personality and your drive and what you can find. I think. I'll happy to talk more about it offline. Just send me a note.
Sure. Arrhythmia FPS is asking for thoughts on his custom case design. He puts a little link there. I'll share it with you on Skype if you wanted. Cool.
Yeah, sure.
So there's the link that he shared in Twitch chat. This is my first time seeing it as well.
The Maple Bar.
Oh, that's cool.
I like the name.
It's a layered. It looks a whole lot like that
Level?
couch surfer thing.
Oh yeah, he's the same guy that did the couch.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why.
that might make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, it's the same design. It just doesn't have all the extra space on it.
It kind of reminds me of the level keyboard that
does, yeah. I
did.
think they were both designed. Wasn't the level one that the high school class did or something?
Kind of. So that one kind of went a bunch of different directions because they decided not to do it, but like he still tried to do it.
Okay.
He still tried to go through with it, but it ultimately failed basically.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was really an adventure.
Yeah, I really like this design. I mean, it's kind of similar to some stuff that I've done. If you wanted to, you could do internal standoffs, and then you wouldn't have the plate kind of sitting on the top like that. Or I'm assuming that this is done by hand with the router, just because of the design and the way it's done. So, you probably wouldn't be able to do just a recess for the plate to sit down into. That's kind of what I do on my Let Split cases, though, is have a recess that the plate sits down in. I got rid of the screws around the outside, though, and I have the internal standoffs hold it up, and it just kind of sits on the outside rim, so you don't have any exposed screws, but that's just aesthetic.
I just want to say, I think it's very unappreciated how shiny that plate is.
It is impressive. I don't know who polished that, but they did a really good job.
That is like the highlight
and
for
I
me.
know that because I've been trying to polish some plates here lately, and it's not easy. It takes time.
Yeah, that is like otherworldly polished steel.
It is. It's very impressive.
Wow, I love the name too, Maple Bar. I think that's pretty cool.
The best donut, by the way.
Yeah, I like the couch server. I don't do much computing on the couch these days, but I like the idea. I used to do more. I think I would probably try to figure out a way to put my laptop on there, so like a case, like a board with a case and a keyboard and a laptop and a mouse, and trying to fit all that
for
on
sure.
your lap. That would be cool. But
all right. B the Zebra is asking, were you big into wood? Is wood a niche that you thought would add your expertise to, or did you grow up around a tree? Why the name Woodkeys?
I don't know. I've always liked to build things, and wood is one of kind of the most accessible things to build out of. And I had kind of gotten into before my friend came up with this. I'd been starting to do some stuff. My son did a class at our makerspace where they built a tongue drum, and so I was looking at some exotic woods to build these tongue drums. If you don't know what a tongue drum is, you should go Google it. They're really fascinating. It's basically a wood top with these cutouts in it that have different pitches, and you beat on it with mallets, and it sounds really cool. But it's just a wood box with some cutouts in the top, and so I was looking at doing some stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just fascinating to me, all the different types of wood and how to finish them. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you can finish wood and get different looks and different properties and all that. So I wouldn't say that I really. I don't know. I've always built stuff out of wood. Like I said, whether it's 2x4s and plywood or popsicle sticks, or it's just wood's easy to build out of. So.
Fair enough. All right. Gio is asking, I'm building a tray-mounted wood case with an acrylic layer, just epoxying the 3 layers together. Anything I should look out for with a simple build like this, or is it pretty straightforward?
I mean, always when you're talking about gluing wood to a different material, you got to worry about movement. Wood moves when the temperature and humidity changes. It's more about the humidity with wood. So most people are familiar with materials moving in temperature changes. Like roads have spacer joints and all sorts of different things. Metals will expand and contract, and ice will break your glass or whatever if you freeze it. People understand that stuff, but wood moves with changes in humidity, and I haven't really seen any problems with movement in my cases. I tend to allow pretty liberal tolerances, and that's kind of one of the problems I'm trying to solve when I was talking about doing the material fusion type of stuff. Is how do you make sure that it's not going to move? One of the ways is to kind of to stabilize the wood with an epoxy resin. So I know I've talked about this some with Bus Gamer about putting wood in epoxy resin and putting it in his pressure pot to fill all the pores of the wood with epoxy, and then you basically have a piece of plastic with wood inside of it. So you've encapsulated the wood, and so now it won't move anymore. So there's ways to do stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to go that far. Probably in terms of a keyboard, if you're just gluing a piece of acrylic to a piece of wood, it's probably not going to move as long as you got a good glue up.
Okay, right on. All right, Toasty Party is asking, what software do you use to design? CAD, SolidWorks, etc.
I use Fusion 360 because it's free.
That's a good reason.
Free is pretty cool.
It's free. But it's extremely powerful also, and they keep adding more features. So it'll do all the CAD, so you can draw the stuff, you can build the models. It'll do the rendering. It'll do some pretty cool animation stuff, so you can do exploded assemblies and stuff and have them be animated. I think Chris posted one of my videos in the Top Clack Discord earlier today. And then you can do the CAM, which is the computer-aided machining, which is taking the 3D model, building the tool paths of where the CNC machine is going to carve out, and it does all of that calculation, and it does a really good job of computing those toolpaths. It has some really advanced high-speed machining toolpaths, and so yeah, it's a complete package, and that's the main reason I use it. I use KiCad currently for PCB design, or KeyCad as some people call it. I'm always going to call it KiCad. It works. It works well, and that's what most people use, so it's easy to do. But one thing I've been looking into is actually getting a license for Eagle for the PCB design, and the only reason I would consider that is because they have integrated it with Fusion 360, because Autodesk bought Eagle a few years ago. They've integrated that with Fusion 360, so you can actually go back and forth between the PCB design and the mechanical model to design your case. So if you need to tweak the case where it's not going to fit right, then you got to tweak the PCB to make it fit, and you can go back and make those changes back and forth. So, that's
pretty cool.
That kind of integration is really powerful in terms of workflow. So, like I said, that's the only reason I would probably move toward that, and that's. But yeah, I mean, the most of the reason why I'm not on SolidWorks is I don't have an extra $5,000 or something to spend on a license.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turns out that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. A Lump of Unworth is asking, "Will you be my dad, Woodkeys?"
Yeah. He's from Houston. He's 13.
Oh, is he?
No, he's not. But.
Oh.
My son is about to turn 13, so if he really was 13, I would be old enough. Anyway, that's kind of.
Anyways, back to keyboards for some reason. Gio is asking you to show off one of your wood cases so we can see how thick they are.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I showed it off earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is I could show off this one. This was the original design prototype that we did for for my friend's keyboard. It was like a Prionic hand wire.
Oh.
So this is probably the first prototype that we cut. It was cut out of pine, and there's all sorts of stuff wrong with it, but it's got a 5mm plate, and I think on the other version we actually did cut out spots for the switches to clip in, but this one they were thicker. But yeah, I mean, we learned a lot of stuff about the machine and how it behaves, and how just because you told the bit to go along this path doesn't mean it can actually do that, because it's under these stresses, and so it'll deflect. You wouldn't think that it would move that much, but it does, especially because it's spinning so fast, and doing things like slowing down as we go into the corners, and all the stuff we learned along the way. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, this was one of those prototypes. All
right. Toasty Party is asking, ever consider making a series from more exotic woods like zebra, wangu, I don't know if that's right, purple heart, wild olive, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I've done lots of purple heart cases. Purple heart is actually one of the most terrible woods to work with.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's really dense, and it's really kind of almost brittle, like it chips out really easily, but it is actually very fascinating, because the first thing I made out of purple heart, I got it finished and I sanded it down, and I was like, this is brown, this is not purple at all. So I kind of panicked, and I went online and I read, and it said, okay, you just leave it in the sunlight, put it in your windowsill, and it will turn purple again. And I was like, no way, that can't.
What?
That's like backwards, right? Normally you put something in the sun and it bleaches it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I put it in my windowsill for like a day or two, and I pulled it out, and it was as purple as could be.
Wow.
What? It is absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
But yeah, I haven't done zebra wood. I have a piece of wingy that I'm going to be building some stuff out of. Actually, a couple of different things out of here pretty soon. Yeah, I did some Bakoti for the group buy. Those are very nice. That's a very cool wood. It's actually pretty cool to work with too. Paddock is fascinating because it turns into like a powder. Like most wood, when you cut it with the CNC, it kind of comes out in chips. This looked like the Mars rover landing site. It was like piles of red dust, just absolutely crumbles into a dust, and it's fascinating. But yeah, lots of interesting woods out there.
Morning coffee.
Expensive.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying some of them are very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morning Coffee is asking, other than your own boards, what is your dream keyboard you don't have yet? I think that's a question for everyone.
My dream keyboard? Excuse me. Dream keyboard I don't have yet. I don't know. I don't see a lot of stuff out there that I'm like, I want that. I see a lot of stuff. I tend to be of that I want to build something kind of like that, but a little different kind of mentality. And I usually do, like, just go build it. I don't know if there's one that I'm so into ortho right now. Like I can't even hardly type on a staggered keyboard. So most of the boards out there are staggered. And so that's why I'm trying to build more ortho keyboards. So.
Howdy, Brian.
It's funny because we get this question or similar questions so often, and every time I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I actually honestly have no idea like what keyboard is out there. That's like my dream keyboard. Yeah. I have a lot of keyboards right now, and I really like all of them for different reasons, and I don't know if there's like one out there that I'm just like, oh my god, that's the dream. I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't know.
Well, think about
M60
that
when I get it. Maybe that'll be the cool thing. I don't know, man. What about you, Huey?
I don't really think I have one. Like, dream keyboard, I don't really think about that either, to be honest. For a long time, it was getting a nice beam spring, but I have a nice beam spring now that I absolutely love. So it's hard to say. It really is hard to say.
Yeah. I don't know if my dream keyboard even exists right now.
Probably not.
I'd have to like plan out exactly what I would want on it. I don't know. Huanghu95 brings up a good question. Speaking of 5mm plate, do you guys think that it's going to be a big thing after the Zephyr and the 280? It's hard to say, but right now it seems like 5mm plates are going to be like kind of the trend of 2018.
Yeah, so they're definitely, in theory, they're a great option if, because thicker metals is going to have a different feel. So in theory, a lot of people like the theory behind it. Not enough people have tried it in practice. So once these first batches of keyboards with the 5mm plates ship and more people have opinions and start echoing their opinions out, that's going to be the deciding factor on whether or not we're going to see a bigger wave of 5mm plates. And I think we will.
Yeah.
I like the integrated plate design. I almost did that on the Scarlet Bandana, but I didn't. And I'm looking. I've got some other boards that I'm looking at doing an integrated plate on. I like that design.
All right, right on. All right, last question before we wrap up. Gio is asking, when you restart your custom plate service, will you also offer brass?
I am looking at brass. Yeah, I've got a few quotes. I'm trying to work out all the details. It's most people don't just want to say, let me cut 50 different things out and I'll give you a price. It's really hard to kind of give you a price up front and then go get that quoted from the shop and get it cut. It's just a whole process, right? Like. And part of the problem is that stainless steel is really easy to laser cut and brass is not. Like, so most of the time brass is going to be water jet cut, which is significantly more expensive most of the time for cutting. So it all depends. There's, again, like I was saying, there's a couple of places here in town that do laser and water jet cutting that I just recently found out about. So I've been talking with them. I've been talking with some other places that I've run across. So yeah.
one last question from me before we end for today. Hopefully it's really quick, but would you ever consider doing assembled keyboards, like cases with dovetail joints in the corners, for example? Something, you know, really unique, really in-depth like that?
I would. I like those mitered corners. Or, you know, those not mitered but jointed corners. But and I've seen a couple people that have done them and done a pretty good job of it. I don't know, like there's not a lot of room to work with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you make it like really angled and like have a
really tall,
really high,
right?
Yeah, like really tall. Like, I mean, yeah, if you put a 12-degree angle on it, you could have a lot of space in the back to do some jointry on. But I mean, I've done some designs. I haven't built one yet, but I've done some designs with you know, an assembled case instead of a machine one. It's something I've thought about.
I hope you explore that more in the future, because that's something I personally would be interested in. My background, like growing up, I worked in furniture like most of my life, or a good part of it. So like looking at joints has always been really awesome. Looking at different wood joints, love dovetail joints. Hope that becomes a big thing in keyboards. I hope so. Thank you so much, Cole, for joining us today on Top Clack. Thank you, everyone, for watching, as well as all you VOD viewers. Check out woodkeys.click. Check out all the upcoming projects. If you're still watching this VOD before the end of the 25th, check out those big switch cases. 4 more spots for the brass one. You can get aluminum ones or the normal wood ones. Check out all those interesting products he has on his site, especially those new plank cases coming out in the low pro and high profile version. Upcoming projects like the red
Scarlet Bandana.
Scarlet Bandana. I keep thinking red because red scarf. But yeah, Scarlet Bandana. Woodkeys.click, everyone.
Yes, and of course, as usual, make sure you check below the stream. Discord link down there. You can come hang out with us and talk to us. And, you know, maybe if you have more questions for Woodkeys here, you can ask more of him in our Discord. And you know, our YouTube channel is down there as well. Make sure you sub to that. We're slowly approaching our 2K sub mark. We still need to do a giveaway for the 1K sub.
Yeah, right.
God, we're awful. Anyways, yes, more giveaways coming up. Make sure you're on both of those things. And last but not least, of course, thank you once again, Cole of Woodkeys. Appreciate all of your knowledge and information being bestowed upon us and all of our viewers.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific for Top Clack.